Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by our Superintendent of Troup County School Systems, who needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway, Dr. Brian Shumate. Dr. Shumate, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you. You know, I had you on not long ago, but you know, we always have such a great opportunity and time with together. So I wanted to bring you back to talk about some other things going on with the Troup County School System. And Dr. Shumate, I know you've been here now for about, what, 4 years almost?
No. Year and a half.
Year and a half?
Well, a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. I know time flies, but not quite
20 months or
20,
so.
There you go. Dr. Shumate, tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
I think most people know my story. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. For the first 49 years of my life, I lived there. Worked in Jefferson County Public Schools, which is a large school district, for 27 years. Went to Medford, Oregon for 5 years as a superintendent. Now I've been here in my second year as superintendent at Troup. So my wife's an educator. You know, we have 2 kids. One's 27, one's 31, 2 grandkids, etc. But I've made a career out of public education. I'm a total believer in it.
Absolutely. And you know, when you think about it, I think a lot of times back to my elementary days. And you know, what the teachers were pouring into me at that time, you know, you're young and you're just kind of rambunctious and all of the above, and you don't really grasp it. And then when you get a little bit older, you're like, bing, the light comes on. Yeah. And you think, oh my God, they were shaping me for the future that I'm now in. Right. And it's invaluable, you know, what you pour into them. Right.
We have 17 comprehensive schools and 3 special schools. We have 20 total. We have about 650 teachers, over 12,000 kids. And you know, in public education, we take all comers. We don't pick and choose, right? We bring them all, no matter whatever they've got going on. We try to deal with it, and we don't back up from that challenge. And it takes a lot of support, a lot of services for families to make sure kids are getting what you're talking about, is that nurturing and love and support and education while they're young, because you're educating adults for the future. That's right. You know, we're not like some places that do get to pick and choose, and we don't want to pick and choose. We want any kid in this county to be in our schools. Absolutely. And matter of fact, our enrollment is up about 270 kids over January of last year. And people say public education is losing enrollment all around the country. We're not. And that one of my board members said, where are they coming from? I said, I don't really know. All I know is people vote with their feet. That's right. And if they like what we're offering, they're going to walk in our doors and want to be a part of our school district. So I feel good about that increase in enrollment. Very good. And you know, I see from afar, watch from a distance, and hear and see the things that are happening within the Troup County school system. And I must commend you all on what you're doing as far as the environment in which we're in currently. And hopefully we kind of seeing it start to taper down. Talk a little bit about the environment, the virtual versus in class. Well, first of all, I'm very, very happy that we've been in school since August 17th. We've had a few little hiccups, but nothing major. There's about 50% of this country has not been back to school. And when I hear about people talking about their reopening plans in February, I'm like, where were you all in July? We were doing this and nobody came and helped us. It's Troup County, our community got this place open, and our staff, and helped us to maintain. And we've had a lot of support. Parents are with us. Virtual's tough. We started off at about 30% virtual and went to 40%. After about October, up to Thanksgiving, up to Christmas, it was about 24% virtual. And after the holiday break, we came back and we're about 18% right now. Okay. Virtual works for some kids. They have to have really good adult support at home. They got to have resources at home, but it's tough. I do believe in-person learning is better for kids, and we're getting ready to take back another group at the 9-week mark coming up on March 15th. Okay. So parents, you can still sign up to come back for that last 9 weeks, even if you've been virtual all year. We want kids to come back in the building. We're working on a Saturday Academy for virtual kids, just so they can get inside the building and realize they're still a part of this school community. That's right. An extensive summer school program is in the works, about 6 weeks for all kids, whoever wants it, because we've got to make sure, we're going to not force, but highly encourage kids to participate, because we got learning loss that's happened, even if they've been in person, because a lot of them been quarantined here and there and all that. So, but it's a tough thing, but I'm very proud of our efforts. Well, very good. You know, again, I see it from afar, and again, just want to commend you and the staff. Yeah, thank you. I want to start naming because you leave out somebody, but I want to kind of shift now and talk about some things that everybody can get involved in, and then we also want to stress and emphasize that this is not something new. This is just a continuation. And I'm talking about E-SPLOST. All right. Talk a little bit about what is E-SPLOST, if you don't mind. E-SPLOST is a extra 1 cent tax on sales tax or consumable items in Troup County, and it's been going on since 1997. Each E-SPLOST is a 5-year span So we're now in E-SPLOST Roman numeral 5, or the 5th iteration of E-SPLOST, and we're in year 4 of 5. So we're year 24 into this thing. The current E-SPLOST is due to generate around $63 million. Of course, it was all encumbered early on with the new Troup County athletic facility, the LaGrange athletic facility, the new Clearview Elementary. Those are big ticket items, as well as a lot of other projects that have been done along the way. We bought probably 12,000 Chromebooks, security upgrades, heating and air, roofs, all that stuff gets paid for with E-SPLOST. We're up for E-SPLOST 6 coming up. And we've got plans for that. We want to build a new school at Rosemont. We want to do some substantial upgrades at Callaway High. They don't have an auditorium, never have had. We want to get them one of those, as well as some athletic upgrades and other things inside that building. Hogansville, a wing onto the building. West Point, a kind of a new front renovation. LaGrange Auditorium needs to be renovated, as well as a lot of projects that you don't think about. I always say, people don't appreciate heating and air and roofs until they don't work, right?
That's right.
It's my job to make sure these buildings are comfortable, that the parking lots are paved, and all those things are super expensive. So the next E-SPLOST is due to generate about $72 million if it goes through.
Okay, all right, well, very good. And you're talking about those things, because I oversee some of the buildings here with the City of LaGrange, and you're absolutely right. We're talking just about in the building that we sit in. We had to have a roof done on it some years ago, and I know what that price tag was at that point. I can only imagine what it would be at today's market.
Well, Troup High School desperately needs a roof, the whole building. It's about a $3.1 million project.
Whoa.
And we're torn right now whether to try to do it now or wait to see if E-SPLOST comes through. However, there is something called capital outlay reimbursement from the state of Georgia. That's a little side, and it's something people really don't know about, but for roofs and HVAC, they will reimburse you 30 to 40% of the cost.
Okay.
So we're due, and they'll help you every 20 years on a roof, for instance, in schools. That school has to be occupied for 20 years with kids.
Right.
Every day there's kids in that building, there's a little savings account. So of the $3.1 million price tag, we would get reimbursed about 1.2.
Okay.
That's for those kind of projects, not for a lot. The other types of things do not get reimbursed, but for those roofs and those kind of things, we will.
And one of the things that I want to emphasize, I know you may not be able, but this is a fair tax. Everybody across the board pays this, and we're only talking about a continuation of a 1 cent tax. And can you give some numbers about where those monies come from?
Well, it's estimated about 30 to 40% of that income comes from people that do not reside in Troup County and don't have kids in our schools. They're either working in our businesses here, they're visiting Great Wolf, they're coming for ball games and tournaments, or they're visiting family, whatever. We found out the Love's truck stop in Hogansville, a lot of big trucks come through there and fill up with diesel, and it's a big producer of that tax. So, it is spread out amongst a lot of people. Now, likewise, our residents go to other counties and spend money and help their E-SPLOST. So it's a leveling effect about how it affects all but 3 counties in Georgia, I believe, have an E-SPLOST. Okay. And it definitely helps us with keeping our buildings nice and maintained and safe and all those things. And without it, we would have to really dip into general fund and or go out for bonds. And with bonds, only the taxpayer or the homeowners pay for the bonds. And we don't want to do that either. So it does have a leveling effect when more people participate.
Absolutely. And again, we just will we know that this is on the ballot. Hopefully people will come out and support, because education is the key that unlocks so many doors. You were talking about Chromebooks, and I know a lot of the students now have Chromebooks. Talk about those and how they have been integrated into the learning.
Well, they've been coming for a while. Again, we're probably up to about 13,000 Chromebooks. They're about $300 a piece. So that's $3.9 million to replace them. Chromebooks are only going to last about 3 years. Okay. They're not very durable. It's really a cheap piece of technology, so you can get them in more kids' hands. Now all of our kids have a Chromebook. Okay. And we bought this software platform called Canvas, where you can do virtual education. So we want our kids to take their Chromebooks home every night. That was a foreign concept 15 years ago. When I was a principal, we were just starting to talk about having laptops in kids' hands, and oh my gosh, what are they going to do if they get broken, stolen? Are they going to take them home? And everybody's worried about that. And now it's just not a big deal. And kids are better on them than we are most of the time. And they can navigate that virtual world because that's the world they live in. So Chromebooks are changing the nature. Even when they are in the classroom, their Chromebooks are open. Okay. And they're working interactively sometimes on a Promethean board, which is now a smart board.
That's right.
It's not a chalkboard anymore.
It's not a chalkboard.
It's not a whiteboard. It is a interactive computer on the wall that the teacher manages, sometimes with touch screens with their finger. But kids keep their Chromebooks open most of the day, even when they're in school.
Yeah, the learning modalities have changed so much from when I was in school. You talked about the Promethean board versus the chalkboard and things of that nature. I can remember had to write on the chalkboard, I will not talk in class.
Gosh.
Times have changed. Well, Dr. Shumate, our time always gets away from it, but I definitely appreciate all that you're doing along with the staff and everybody in the Troup County School System, and knowing that things will continue to get only better under your leadership. So we just thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and very honored to be the superintendent. And I still enjoy getting out of bed and go to work every day.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get better.
Absolutely.
I promise you. And we're going. While we like to win championships in sports, we need to win championships in the classroom. And that's my plan. So we plan to do that.
Well, just always know that anything that we can do here at LGTV to get the word out, to help you with that. I know it takes a community. And I always say, we say it takes a village to raise a child. We take that village and expand it to a community.
Absolutely. We are the one entity that touches every part of this county.
That's right.
And we've received so much support. And that's when like through this pandemic, and when you have a crisis and how people respond in a crisis is how you judge their character, right? And I have felt that support and love all around. And my job is to push our staff and keep the intensity up, because we don't want people, when this thing comes out, when it goes away, and it will eventually.
It will, that's right.
We're going to come out the other end ready to roll.
That's it.
And others who haven't been in school for a year, I don't know. I don't even know how you get back in shape, because these are hard jobs these teachers do every day. You have to stay physically and mentally in shape every day.
Yes.
And so I'm very proud of our efforts, and I think we're going to have a good future ahead of us.
Well, good. Once again, my hats off to you and to all the teachers that are pouring into the future of our generations.
Right.
So again, if we can support you anyway, you always have our assistance.
Thank you, Alton. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week coming up in just a moment.